looking resplendent with sunflowers, and they are just beautiful. They're huge.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Hello, Blossom. Happy New Year.
Yes, indeed. Happy New Year.
Now, yes, I've got the sunflower with me today, and she's a Yankee.
Yes.
Born in the USA.
Absolutely. I didn't realise that, actually. When I overlooked that fact. I wrote it down, but I didn't even think about it too much. Fancy being born in the USA.
Oh, well, Bruce Springsteen, yeah, wrote a song about it. One of my favourite songs, actually.
Okay.
But she's the state emblem of Kansas in the US of A. And she's definitely a beauty. Now, she is a Leo when it comes to the zodiac charts, and she can last up to 21 days if you do the right thing. Okay. Now, what is doing the right thing? Now, she's 82 species, consist of Miss Sunflower. She is a female predominantly, but 38 species come from tuber instead of seed. So when they're tuber, you need to cut it flush because they're male.
Okay.
And so are bulbs, and so are rhizomes.
Yes.
They're they're male. You cut them flush. Females, you cut them on an angle. And when we say you cut them on an angle, I'm meaning the stem down below. This variety that I'm holding is from seed. So you need to do your research to see whether it's male or female, and cutting the stem is going to determine whether it's going to last up to 21 days if you've done the right thing.
Now, the stems you've brought in are quite long. I would say they're up to 1 metre. Yeah,
well, she's definitely got legs, and some varieties can grow up to 8 foot.
Yes.
So this beauty here can, grow up to 6 foot, but there are some that can grow up to 8 foot. Now, if it is a male cut flower, like I said, flush, female, on an angle, if you see slightly a droop in the neck, now she's got a magnificent neck for the listeners who are into necks. If her neck starts to droop, that is a sign she needs to be burped. So put the kettle on, Blossoms, and we need to create boiling water to then go into, let's say, a bowl. And if it's female, you cut it on an angle. If it's male, you cut it flush. But make sure you don't put the stem to the base of the bowl, because you need to allow water to go in. Now, once the bubbles start to disappear, it means that she's burped all that out of her throat.
So what you're saying, the stem goes straight into that boiling water?
Yeah.
Wow.
It does. So this is one of the cut flowers that can take a beating, which is scalding.
Yes.
And once the bubbles disappear in the water, that then is an indication that you need to take the stem out of the water and put it into warm, deep water. Preferably, I recommend this with flower food, and the following day her neck goes straight up and she's ready, to start smiling again.
Okay, but if you purchase ones with straight stems that aren't drooping, do you need to do that?
No.
Okay.
No. As soon as you see her tilt her head forward, which I think means that she needs, a bit of burp, that's what you do.
Okay.
She is edible, so if you buy it in the form of bud, that before it blooms can be cut off, beheaded, and boiled, just like you would boil, let's say, broccoli, and it tastes like artichokes.
Wow, that sounds fantastic. Would you be able to coat them with breadcrumbs like you do with zucchini flowers?
Absolutely.
Okay, that's an interesting point. Now, I've got a botanical bite for you. And you probably know this, but just in case listeners out there are interested, the unique thing about the sunflower is that the inside part, the dark part, is actually up to 2,000 individual flowers called disc florets, and on the outside is the ray florets. So that's how all flowers in the Asteraceae family are made up.
Correct. And like you just said, she comes from the Asteraceae family, so it's one of the big families in the cut flower kingdoms. And she certainly has cousins. So Aster is related to her. Gerbera is related to her.
Just about anything really that looks like a daisy is related.
Exactly. Chrysanthemum is another cousin. Caligula is another cousin. She has a lot of cousins, that's for sure. So if you want to gang up on her, she's got cousins to defend her.
Now, one thing we haven't mentioned is, well, helianthus is the actual botanical name, or
Correct.
So it's an annual, and it combines two Greek words for the sun, helios, and flower, anthos. So.
Yes, and speaking of history, when she's in toddler stage in the ground, she's very obedient. She follows the sun. And as she starts to mature, she becomes a rebel. And it's like, oh, stuff this.
Yeah.
I'm not going to
I'm
follow
not going
the
to do
sun.
that.
I don't want to pray anymore. Like, I don't want to be a sun gazer anymore. Like, I've just retired. I'm over it.
Yeah.
So as she matures, she stops turning her head to follow the sun.
Yeah.
So that's why she's one of my favourites. I mean, I've got a bit of rebel in me.
Okay.
And speaking of what else she does for you, now, if you want to make it, and I've heard this phrase a few times in my short life, you've got to fake it until you make it. This is certainly the cut flower to have around you while you're trying to make it. So if you're an aspiring actor and you're trying to be, you know, a celebrity, well, this is the cut flower to have around you, actors.
Yep. So,
fake it until you make it.
so turn up on the red carpet with a bunch of sunflowers.
Indeed, indeed. Now, the energetic properties. Now, Miss Sunflower raises your mood. It lifts your energy levels, and she injects you with smiles and happiness. And it is certainly the cut flower for males. This is the cut flower that heals. It's superb when it comes to healing males. It does for female, but
It's better for males.
it's more
their flower.
pointed towards the males. Yeah. So if you have a male that is a bit sad and you want to cheer him up, this is certainly the cut flower to gift.
Now, when are they available? Are they available only in the warmer months of the year? Or
Spring and summer.
that's it.
Predominantly, yeah.
Okay.
So I encourage your listeners to grow their own. Kids love it. I mean, and it's so easy to grow. It's the most low maintenance crop to grow, and it has a lot of benefits to it, you know, other than gazing at it. I mean, they make canola oil out of it.
Okay.
They make beauty products out of it. I mean, and Kansas City has just come up with, you know, making diesel out of it.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's got a lot of fabulous features to it. And, you know, how do we know that it's youthful? Well, the bigger the eye, and if we can get Sabrina to zoom in a little bit.
So on Facebook Live right now.
So see that there? So the bigger the eye, the youthful it is. And as it starts to age, the eye then starts to get smaller and then finally disappears. So if you want to compare that eye to this eye, you can see the difference.
It's like a 10-cent piece or maybe smaller. Yeah.
Absolutely. Now, if you have a pregnancy on the way and you don't want to know the sex and you want to paint your room yellow like the sunflower because that's inspired you, I recommend that you don't paint any room yellow for children because it stops them from sleeping.
Oh.
Yeah, and it's also a colour to give you some bounce, or let's call it spring in your step. Hence the reason why the golden arches of McDonald's are yellow.
Oh.
Because when you're low on fuel, you need yellow to inject you with some spring in your step.
Wow.
And speaking of spring, it's certainly a spring cut flower and a summer cut flower. And Sunday is the day to have sunflowers around you.
Okay.
So any day of the week.
But Sunday's the day.
Sunday's the day for a sunflower to make an entrance.
That's when all things align.
Well, it's the first day of the week. What a fabulous way to start the first day of the week.
It is
with some
indeed.
sunflowers.
Okay. Once again, Mercedes, thanks for coming in and talking to a real well gardener.
Pleasure.